Hello, today we're making our famous chicken pot pie. And the thing about my chicken pot pie is it contains more chicken than fillers. Now I'm taking some butter here and I'm melting it in my saucepan. In case you thought this was something other than a saucepan, I'm gonna I'm gonna totally melt this butter over medium heat. I'm gonna cook this for about 2 minutes and add some flour to it. I do want the butter to be melted. Uh, Actually, yeah, we want that to be melted. And you know what happens when you add, flour to stuff. It just makes it thicker. So we don't really want to make the butter thicker when we are trying to melt it. And I'm going to just do this for a little bit until everything's like really melted, and then we'll go from there. Now remember, this was some butter I used and some flour. Currently melting this. And after we get everything melted in properly, we're going to be adding some gravy. This is gravy. We're adding a little bit of gravy in there. Then we're just going to mix that together. And I am adding this gravy and just waiting until it bubbles up a little bit. Alrighty. Getting a little bubbly for us. Actually, I have a big chunk of something in here too. I think it's from adding the flour before the gravy and everything, before the butter was melted. Okay, now after I get all this stuff in here, the butter and the flour and the gravy, after we have that bubbling correctly, we're going to do the strangest thing. We are going to actually add the chicken. And let me show you what's going on with the chicken here. This is a lot of chicken, and we're putting it in here because this is a chicken pot pie. It's not a vegetable pot pie. Let's stick this chicken in here a little bit. Just kind of mix it up. And after I get the chicken kind of soaked in the gravy, I'm going to start adding my vegetables. I use peas and broccoli. I don't put broccoli, peas, celery, potatoes, carrots. Those are for people who don't want to use a lot of chicken. So the next thing I'm going to add to this is some peas. I've already gotten all the juice out. We're adding the peas. And we will add the broccoli. They say use frozen broccoli in there. I don't know what difference it makes. We're just going to cook this. So I'm not sure why we need to do this. Again, my pot pies, people appreciate for having chicken in them instead of just that other garbage. When people think of pot pie, a lot of times they think of like those little cheap Swanson dinners in the box or whatever, and it turns them off because all they think is like all the vegetables I told you. And obviously this is a chicken pot pie, not a vegetarian pot pie with like 3 little pieces of chicken in it. Now we've got everything in here. We've got our broccoli, our peas, chicken, gravy, butter, and everything. I'm just going to kind of, you know what I'm doing? I'm just mixing this until it is satisfying, until it looks good to me. Because there's no set time. Now that we have everything mixed, we're going to add it to the pie crust. And this is the hardest part for me. And I'm using ready-made pie crust, but it's still the hardest thing for me. Turning this off. And here's our pie pan, our pie crust. And what everybody might want to see, it's going to be hard to do this without everything falling out. And I'm clumsy, but this is what we've got going on here. This is what the stuff looks like. I've already preheated the oven, so we don't have to stand here for 15 minutes and wait for that. I am next simply going to pour all this into here, our filling. Oh, this pan is heavy. Alrighty. Whoa, looks like some got out. That's because I'm trying to do this all with one hand. Me personally, I like to use extra food. Well, it's not extra, it's part of our recipe. And we got that in there. Uh-oh. We could pretend like I'm not eating this chicken that fell out. And here we go. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Just, you can tell how good it's going to be just by looking at it. And it's not even got the top crust on it. Now, most people would add some kind of spices in here, but we don't really use spices too much, so I'm not even worried about that. Again, I'm not going to make a pie crust from hand. I can buy a ready-made pie crust, and the only time I would make a pie crust by hand would be if I was making pie or some kind of desserts, because then you can make it all tasty the way you want to. And like I said, this is horrible because I am going to use ready-made pie crust, and you're still going to see how hard this is for me. This is one of these things where the pie crust kind of falls apart on you. So the pie might fall apart on you a little bit, but my attitude has always been, as long as it tastes good, right? That's what we're making this pie for. This is the ready-made pie crust. It's already so you don't have to stand there, making all that. You want to make sure this is at the proper temperature or it's going to fall apart. I learned that, the hard way, even though it actually says on the box to leave it out or stick it in the microwave. But, some people don't listen. We're just putting this on the top. Again, this is the hardest part for me because some of this pie crust, wasn't long enough on the bottom. And, with pie crust and pie, you're going to try to fold the bottom crust over the top crust. And don't do it the other way because you won't be able to get the pie out. Everything will really fall apart. This, again, I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be with this because this pie crust totally fell apart when I was trying to make it. All right, we're going to fold this. I got to get the other side, right? All right, and you see what I'm doing. I'm taking the bottom crust. I think somebody could probably figure this out. But, again, we're taking the bottom crust from the inside of the pan. We take that a little bit, fold that on top. If you find the need to taste some of this pot pie while you're making it, go ahead. Just don't tell the person you're giving it to, right? Because I know everybody tastes some of their food when they're cooking it. We're going to really, really hope that these edges stay together. But the main result is we want the stuff to taste good, right? Don't forget to cut your little holes in the top of your, crust to let some air out. And I am not going to necessarily be able to show you the end result because I don't know how to merge these videos together and stuff. So right now we're going to just stick this in here and I'll see later, if I can merge it or whatever. But got the pie crust looking good. Now this pie crust, these pot pies tend to leak a little. So what I do is I put a cookie sheet in my oven under there because when the stuff starts leaking out, who wants it in the bottom of their oven, right? Alrighty, so I go ahead and put this pie itself on the rack. But you see I put this, I put this pie pan under here, or excuse me, the cookie sheet under here. I'm going to cook this for almost an hour. We're going to do this for 45 minutes. And I'm afraid that if I can figure out how to merge the videos and stuff, we'll merge them. Otherwise, it might just be a separate video with me showing you how to do it. Also, again, since I'm the chef and I have this little piece of pie left over, pie crust, I can do whatever I want to because I don't need it, and it might be fun to play with. Okay, so either this video will be merged or we'll have to make a second one showing the results. See ya in a bit.